Hey guys, sup? Make here. Bring you guys another deck profile. This one will be from my Altmile or Control Altmile deck profile for the Royal Paladin Clan for January 2018. I'm sorry. My birthday is exactly a week and a half from now, so just now I may post a video on there. Probably not. I'm not sure, but I was born on the 17th of January, so I will be taking off for then in all likelihood. So, um, you've probably seen me playing with this deck quite a bit, and I just figured I'd show it to you. Alright, so, first off, the starter. I choose to play not a Discipline Electos. He's got he's got technically three abilities. One is the standard Forerunner skill. Generation Break. His second skill is automatic on the rearguard circle. Generation Break 1 and Counterblast 1, as well as put this unit into your soul. Generation Break, meaning that you just have to have a total of however many it states. In this case, the number is 1, so you need to have one grade 4 or greater monster unit. Unit. This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Either on your Vanguard circle or in your G zone or any combination. And you need to kind of last one and put this unit into your soul. And at the beginning of each battle phase, you may pay the cost of your draw a card, and the brave ability of your cards will always be active until the end of the turn, which really helps. I guess we're gonna get into it now. There are two alternatives. One of them isn't good, like, at all, and the other one's just eh. If you want to, you can. The first one, which I really just don't think you should run, is this card, which is Resurgent Knight Styus. Generation Break 1 Brave. Brave, of course, is their keyword that's active if you have 3 or less cards in your hand. You put this unit into your soul and choose up to one of your other rear guards, and it gains 5,000 power, and at the end of the turn, you return it to your hand. The power increases okay, I guess, because it's an extra 10k to guard it. The problem is it does return to hand. However, it's like, why would you do that? Because, I mean, the only real reason you would is if maybe you had Hope Keeper, but even then she has her own skill, and your starter does the same thing because it enables the Brave ability in the first place, so, I mean, there's just, and like, you have to have Generation Break 1 in either case, so, you know, it's not really worth it. The other starter I see some people still running is Shining Knight Milius, which for the longest time was the best starter, but then it just got completely overturned when the set came out that included it. Let me see, what was it? Let me just pull it up real fast. It was it was on. Oh, okay. It came from a trial deck. It came from the the Generation Trial Deck 11, 13. So I thought it came from a set, but nope. Nope. It came from a trial deck. So anyway, I guess that makes it more useful than other structure decks, or whatever they want to call them. But anyway, this one is just GB1. It goes into detail about explaining it there. Counterblast 1, put this unit into your soul, search up for one grade 2 card, call to rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. It's kind of like, what is it? I believe it's Aerial Divine Knight Altmile that does basically the same thing, but I mean, at the same time, it kind of doesn't, because you're still having to get rid of it. Let me see. Yeah, so you just call grade 2. So it's basically like a worse Aerial Divine Knight Altmile. Basically, is what it is. That's what I like to think of it as, though. Basically, though. I mean, if you want to run it, go ahead. I completely agree with the fact that it used to be the best starter for your Altmile decks. I'm sorry, I almost said Alfred. For literally like the longest time until the Generation Shuttle Deck 13 came out. But anyway, for the triggers, we're running 8, we're running 4 copies of Lone Gull, which is to put into Soul and Rearguard Circle, which is running at 3k power. It's just a critical trigger with an effect that makes it so good. Real, I mean, it's like it's amazing. Um, I mean, it may not seem like much, but something with 9k becomes 5 to guard, or if you somehow have something with only 8k, it becomes 1 to it still is 1 to guard. It's still 5 to guard, so it can actually help a lot more than you'd think. And if you already have an established column, it can help with magic numbers. Moving on, we have 4 copies of Dreambringer Billiness. This card is just a special trigger. Put it into your soul when your Vanguard attacks. If you have a great Vanguard Altmile on the same. Pay a cost, draw a card, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gains 5k power until the end of the battle. This doesn't help. The idea behind this is you usually would just get less triggers in your deck. When you'd get less cards in your deck by drawing ideally a card that isn't a trigger, but normally I have practically all of my triggers in my hand anyway, because I start out with them, never draw them, never drive check them. I start out with them, I draw them, never drive check them, or damage check them, so, just my love of life. But anyway, other than that, there's never a reason not to run it, so there's that. Other than that, it's just the 4 copies of Margol, and this is basically the exact same thing as a Lone Gull, only in draw trigger form, which actually helps with the amount of crazy draws you get. Yeah, I mean, it seems counterintuitive because of Brave, but, I mean, it never hurts having Guard. And finally for Maskell, because this is pretty much the best heal in the game for Loyal Paladins, since it gets out Holy Beast Divine Maskell, and you discard a grade 0, I'm sorry, grade 1 or less, and you get to draw a card, and hopefully it's something that you can use. And then Maskell, Divine Maskell is Generation Break 1, and turn over another G-Guardian. And if you have a unit in your front row, plus 10k shield, so it becomes a 25k defender. So yeah, pretty good. So that's it for the grade zeros and trigger lineup. That's it for the starter and trigger lineup. Basically all the grade zero lineup, the entire grade zero lineup. Moving on to grade ones. I'm actually running a pretty odd thing here. So I'm running 3 copies of Night of War Form Pierre. So this card's skill is Generation Break 1, and again it explains what it is already. When your other grade 2 unit is placed on Vanguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Altmile in its card name, choose up to 2 units in the same column as this unit, and they both gain plus 2k power until the end of the turn. So in a way, it's kind of a better Hope Keeper. Okay, so, I mean, I'm trying to think of other ways to be useful, but really the most useful way is if you Superior Call your hopefully you still have 1 copy of Salim in the deck, that way you can Superior Call that. In most cases, it'll just be behind the Vanguard, because your entire rearguard columns will be filled up, hopefully. Because if not, you're not doing too good. And, of course, if it's an Altmile Vanguard, which, again, we'll get to later, it'll gain 3k, so it'll be a 10k booster. And then that counts as a grade 2 in the deck while you have Brave active. And you'll just give a total, it'll basically become an 11k booster between the 2k from both units in the column, because the grade 2 doesn't have to be called to the column that this card is in. It just has to be a grade 2 called to any rearguard circle, and then both cards in this card's column. So this card and whatever is in front of it or behind it, in this case in front of it, will gain 2k. So, pretty good. Unfortunately, I could only run 3 of it, but whatever. Moving on, we have 4 copies of Knight of Backwind Salim. This first ability is continuous on the rearguard circle, Generation Break 1 Brave. So, of course, you know by now what Generation Break is, you know what Brave is. And if you have a Vanguard Altmile name, this card gets 3,000 power, making a 10k booster, as I said, or even just a 10k attacker. And this is one of the first cards, if not the first card, I believe, that actually has an ability in the deck, just continuously. If you have a Vanguard Altmile name, this card gets grade +1, which is so useful, because this is your ideal call target for pretty much anything that superior calls grade 2s. I mean, it's just amazing. So you had to max out. I had to max out on that. Next up, we have 4 copies of Not Oral Cereals. Cereals, or however you pronounce it. This is the recruiter. For the. I mean, not the recruiter. This is your Herald unit for getting out your Altmile, where Altmile is a master unit. So whenever it's placed on rear guard, choose a grade 3 card from your hand and reveal it. Just any grade 3 card. Yeah, I mean, God forbid it would be, but you could even reveal grade 3 from another clan if you really needed to. And then just bring it, in Altmile. And when this unit is placed on the rear guard circle from your hand, because how else would it be, really? You may pay the cost, and if you do, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 card Altmile in its name. Reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and choose a card from your hand and discard it. And of course, it's just stride fodder. It continuously from the hand gets a skill when paying for the cost of stride. This card gets grade +2, meaning that you discard it for the entire cost of the entirety of the cost that would be stride. Finally, we have one last card in the grade 1 lineup, which is 4 copies of Codekeeper. Still pretty much the best perfect guard in the entire game, for all opponents, except for, I guess, depending on how specific of a deck you're playing, Divine Fountain Maidenly in. I still think this is the best perfect guard in all Royal Paladins, but this is a close second. This is good. Like, this is, like, don't get me wrong, if you're playing Alphas or Blasters, this is, like, the best. I'd still say overall it's the best in the entire clan. It's just this one's a bit less specific, making it more generic, which is good. Because that means more people can actually efficiently play it and make it more effective to them. So first off, it's Sentinel ability, just meaning you can only, it's kind of like heals, you can only play 4 copies of it in a deck. Choose a card from your hand, discard it when it's placed in a garden circle, you pay the cost and do. Choose up to one of your Vanguards. It's a perfect RG, meaning it can only negate Vanguard attacks. You can only block Vanguard attacks. There's being attacked, and until the end of that battle, that cannot be hit. It cannot be hit. Now, I was playing a game against Maelstrom. I don't know why. And it of course restanded itself. And I was just sitting like, if only this was for the entirety of that one card's battle, but no, it's just for that one particular battle. So if it restands, rip. But anyway, Generation Break 1, Brave. When this card's placed on rear guard, which until then you'd never place a card with that is a perfect guard on rear guard, but this one's actually okay. When this unit's placed on rear guard, and it doesn't matter if it's from the deck, as long as it's placed on rear guard, until end of turn it gets 2,000 power, and counterblast 1, and at the end of your turn, pay the cost if you do return it to hand. So it boosts on your turn with a power increase, and returns to your hand a perfect guard during your opponent. So it's really good. That's it for the grade 1 lineup. Moving up to the grade 2 lineup, we're only running 10. 2 copies of Absolute Sword Knight Rivero. This card is just your basic 10k vanilla. It makes it so much easier to guard attacks, especially if you're going first. And honestly, if you really need to, you can call it, but you normally won't. Otherwise than that, it's just damage fodder, and you want it to come up kind of often. Hence, we're playing 2 copies of it. If you really, really, really wanted to, get rid of one copy of this for the 4th Pierre, but I really don't recommend it. Moving on, we have 4 copies of Counterattack Knight Slayman, Generation Break 1 Brave. When you have 3 or less cards in your hand, if you have a Vanguard Altmile, it's 3,000 power, put in at 12,000. And then its other effect is Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1, and choose a cost from your hand and discard it. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard Altmile in its name, you pay the cost. If you do, search your deck up to one grade 2 card not named Counterattack Knight Slave. So basically any card that's grade 2 not named this, that isn't this card. I'm sorry, let me rephrase this more effectively. Pay the cost, and if you do, search deck for up to any grade 2 card besides this card. And superior call it, or just call it to your guard. For those of you who don't know lingo. Shuffle your deck, and that unit gets plus 2,000 power. The columns this thing can make is insane. So if you call it behind that, you are in for a field day. I've had 41k columns with this thing before because I'd stack triggers on it. It'd be like 13k on its own. I'd pull triple trigger, put it at like what 23, 28, and have a 12k booster, putting it at 40, 41. I've had another 3k boost, putting it at 40, like 41 or 42. I mean, it's insane the columns you can make with this. I mean, wow. It really is worth it. It really is. I mean, that's about all I can say, really. And then finally, we're running 4 copies of your Elegant Knight Benizal. Automatic Generation Break 1, count bless 1, so bless 1. When this unit's placed in a rear guard circle, if you're at grade 3 or greater Vanguard, Altmile on its name. You may pay the card name, you may pay the cost, and if you do, search your deck for up to 1 grade 2 card other than this card. Call to your guard, shuffle your deck, and until that turn, that unit and this unit both gain 2,000 power. So you could use this with Hopekeeper if you wanted to make it like an 11. Let me see, that's 9, that's 11, that's 6, that's 8. So that'd be like a 19k column with the perfect guard returning to hand at the end of the turn. Wow, it's still only 10 to block, but anyway, that's beside the point. It's just really good. Where's that other card that some people run? There's this, but I don't think anybody should actually be running that. This card is actually okay. This card, I'm not gonna lie, is actually okay. That's not really good, though. Oh, dude, I remember some people actually ran this back in the day, but I don't like it. I'm getting off track. So basically, that looks like an Aqua Force unit, but anyway, you guys can basically run just whatever you want, of course, but I'm just saying the cards I normally run. Where is it? Where's that stupid card that I can't seem to find? What was it? Yeah, there you go, another Twin Sword. I'm not gonna bother reading its specs. I mean, you guys can see it. But I'm not gonna bother reading it. I'm trying to save a bit of time here. But personally, I don't really like it. This card can also call out Salim. That's really good. And that's it for the grade 2 lineup. Moving on to the grade 3 lineup, we only are running 8, which is 4 copies of both Altmiles. Knight of Blue Heaven's Altmile and Knight of Heavenly Decree Altmile. Honestly, this is the main rally target, and this is just the stride fodder, secondary stride fodder, and I guess damage fodder, discard fodder, just any other kind of fodder, really. Why is it 2 of this card here? It's not even named differently or anything, but anyway, I guess it's just a coding error. So yeah, that's actually pretty good. Generation Break 2, this ability is activated at 2 more basic units in order zone. During a turn, all units in your front row gain 5,000 power, and automatic Vanguard count plus 1. During your turn, each unit starting will pay the cost if you choose up to 2 cards from your hand, call them to separate rearguard circles, and choose up to 2 units, and those units gain 5,000 power until end of turn. This one has 3 skills. Generation Break 2 Brave. When your unit attacks, shoot up to 5 of your rear guards and they all gain 4,000 power until end of turn. At the beginning of your ride phase, choose up to one card from your hand and call to your guard, and that unit gains 4,000 power until end of turn. And during your turn, when you generate stride, choose up to one card from your hand and call to your guard. Choose one of your units with the Brave ability, and that unit gains 4,000 power. With the exclusion of its last ability, everything else about it makes it a bit better. But I just prefer the stride skill of that one in particular, because that's what you're going to mainly be going for, while also like getting rid of dispersing your hand. That way you can get your Brave ability online, and B, you can actually be benefiting from it, because A, not only Brave, B, the power increase. I mean, this makes Slayman alone like 16k. I mean, I've actually wait. It, is it 4 or 5? No, it's 5. So 5 there plus 3 from there. So it actually makes this 17k by its own. Not even counting if it's supported. Making it to where it can be 24, 25. I mean, I've had a 27k column with it before, without triggers being added onto it. Other than that, it's a pretty solid card, so if you need to, you can ride it, but I just prefer having the original Altmile for just riding purposes. And other than that, that's really about it. Moving on to from the Grade 3 lineup, which we're now finished with, to this is where